We've talked about the Kavanaugh confirmation is likely to energize at least one side of the electorate going into the midterms. And if that energy does indeed come down on the conservative side, what kind of added pressure does that put on vulnerable Democrats, especially in red states? Joining me now from Memphis, Tennessee, is Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Reverend Sharpton.
Let me ask you, in your state, there is a hotly contested Senate race. With the energizing of the Republicans around the Kavanaugh confirmation and Mitch McConnell, the majority leader in the Senate, saying people are on fire, saying that the Democrats were already on fire for the last year, but now we see the Republicans now going up in the polls. I think in your state, it's the first time we've seen the Republican actually ahead. Are we going to see a right-wing backlash, or are we going to see women and others become so outraged with the confirmation it will increase the already predicted blue wave?
Well, we hope and have to have a large turnout of minorities and women who know the importance of having influence in the United States Senate and witnessing it from this awful confirmation of a flawed candidate who perjured himself before the United States Congress. A lot of women are upset that our candidate, Democratic nominee Phil Bredesen, said he would vote for Kavanaugh if he had been a senator. I wished he wouldn't have said that, but I can kind of understand it. This nomination gave the Republicans a issue to run on and to say how important Senate confirmations are, and he wanted to make it clear that he's independent, and he is an independent individual. He always has voted independently and not nearly as democratically as I would like. But as moderate and conservative as he may be, he's light years beyond Marsha Blackburn, who would put us back into an antediluvian period. She described herself in one of her first ads as proudly a knuckle-dragging creature from the past. She has total fealty to Trump and no individual unique in thoughts that will help us in our country. Phil Bredesen is a person who needs to be elected to give Tennessee the tradition of senators we've had in the past, Democrat and Republican.
Therein lies, Congressman, the dilemma that I'm raising, because in states where you have Democrats, not only Tennessee, but North Dakota, other states, this Kavanaugh nomination and now confirmation causes a serious kind of problem in terms of the exciting and really adding to turnout of the base of women and minorities that you referred to. Because, as you said, your Democratic candidate said, well, I would vote for Kavanaugh, so you can't rally on that. And I think that what the Republicans are trying to do is really put a real damper in the red states, that they can maintain those red states to go red or remain red if they're already in. And how does the Democratic Party sell to the constituents that, well, we got to understand they would go with Kavanaugh and all, but we need change, when in fact, either way you would have got Kavanaugh from your Senate seat?
Well, you would have, and I think the Democrats just have to work hard to emphasize jobs, health care, education, and cleaning up really a culture of corruption in Washington, and the need to do that in the Senate, the need to do it in the House, and to have oversight of this president who has been a total con job his whole life. He's lied about, as the New York Times showed in a great expose, his wealth, how much his father helped him, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and as Governor Richards used to say George Bush was, and saw himself on third and thought he hit a triple. Well, he was born on third. Trump was all the way to 1 foot away from home plate and almost missed the bag on a bad toss from center field. The Democrats have got to get the people out to know how important these midterms are, to preserve our democracy, and to preserve things, as you talked about with the previous panel, voting rights that are in jeopardy, affirmative action. opportunities. You know, people who say he interprets the Constitution the way it was written, the Constitution wasn't written with the idea of black people having any rights. It recognized slavery. And it wasn't written with the idea of women having a right to vote. The Constitution was a flawed document. We're still becoming a more perfect union. Amendments helped. But a lot of what we have seen is the Supreme Court interpreting the Constitution and amendments in a way that makes it current with the conditions in our country and helps people achieve the American dream. And for that, we need to have fair and impartial judges. We need a Senate that will approve or disapprove people based on certain characteristics, including the truth. And we need to have oversight of this administration that's run rampant and taking care of special interests and giving the wealthy great tax breaks and businesses the opportunity to pollute our waters and pollute our airs and make the earth less safe for future generations.
Well, I think that's going to be the dilemma. The Democrats are going to have to figure out how you get that down to the ground. And you've certainly been one that has gotten that almost near perfection in your district and travel.
Well, Al,
thank you.
You know Memphis, and I'm going to be in the churches, and I'm going to be on the radios, and I'm going to urge everybody to get out and vote and keep going with Cohen.
I do know Memphis, and I do know you'll do that.